This is City Council Work Session meeting on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. The time is 6:09. I call this meeting to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you can now take the roll.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Present.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Present.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Present.
Councilmembers Rathmel and Dundon are also absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin discussion of legislation. We will not be discussing RL 25-85. The presenters were unable to attend tonight. So instead, it'll be scheduled for April 1st at 1 p.m. for discussion. Finance Kavanaugh Chair will begin with RL 26-77.
Okay, the mayor is here. Okay. So RL 2677 is an ordinance to amend the 2026 fire budget. Fire budget for purchase of EMS Medcar vehicles.
Yes, so this joins we discussed this during the CDBG working sessions to split up the allocation between the general fund and the CDBG for purchase of fire vehicles. So this matches that. And just to remind, council, we've got a med vehicle for Station 2, an EMS supervisor vehicle, as well as approved through as part of what we're doing with CDBG and this funding, and then also too as part of the capital bond, we have two med vehicles and a med hazmat duo being paid for as part of that. So this funding will help us finalize purchase of the vehicles and allow for any equipping of those vehicles as necessary as part of the spend down, and fire and purchasing are already working on procurement for this as well.
And you plan to get this right away, correct?
Yes, that's correct. So I'm asking for it to be expedited. We are lining up the purchase, and I think we had kind of already discussed this as part of the CDBG discussions as a way to meet in the middle and move forward.
Okay.
I'll motion expedite.
We have a motion and a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion first and second. Any discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Dundon and Rathmel are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Next up, we have RL 26-78. It is in with Chair Matavetsky. Can you please introduce that? I'm sorry.
So we're doing the resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with the Humane Society, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Great.
There,
And
I can
I'm
hear myself now.
Filling in for our MPA chair, who is chairing the whole event today.
Thank you.
So if you could share a little bit about what this is and talk us through it.
I feel like it's working. You gotta hit the button.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, the Humane Society is going to be entering into an agreement with Broome County to take over managing for the Broome County Dog Shelter. So they asked that that the municipalities all fill out this notice by completing the form and basically acknowledging the transition that'll be happening.
So is this seen as a good thing or a bad?
The facility near BCC.
So I think the plan is that the Humane Society is going to be operating Broome County's dog shelter for the foreseeable future. I think their plan is to take that over and use that facility going forward.
So they're going to be using that as the primary intake shelter, and then long term it's just going to become the Humane Society altogether.
Do we have a sense if they're planning to maintain their building in the south side long term, or
What do you mean by that?
Like, so if they're going to be having the one by SUNY Broome, and is their end goal to just have one building by SUNY
I have a
Broome,
feeling
or
neither
have
building has enough capacity to do the entire job.
which one? What?
I have a feeling neither building has enough capacity to do the whole job,
Neither. Okay.
would be my guess.
And then you mentioned the 3 days. I think it's another time to plug registering dogs, because unidentified dogs is an ongoing challenge. So PSA, register your dogs.
Yeah.
Don't let them be an unidentified 3-day dog.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I can hear myself now. Okay. Oh, there's a request for expedition. Can I have a motion expedite?
I'll make the motion, and I'll reach out to my county legislator to understand a little bit more from the county side before our Wednesday meeting.
I'll
I have-
second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Council members Dundon and Rathmiller are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 4-0.
Thank you so much. So it
Thank
will be
you.
expedited. It'll be on Wednesday's business meeting. Thank you. Next up, we have RL 26-79, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 entitled Traffic Code. Hadassah, can you take this over?
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
in my committee, but if you can take this over. RL 26 dash.
No.
I mean, no, it's in 79.
It's in rules. It's good. We're good. We're all
Okay,
good.
sorry.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Thank you.
this is the an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 entitled Traffic Code, and we'll let the sergeant take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Mine is going to be, I know there's a lot of, everybody got this, right? It's going to be brief. I just want to update the traffic code, towing procedure specifically. We want to have tow companies a little bit more control of their towing companies over the equipment that they possess, the rate, what they're charging, and everything else, where they're stationed, where they tow into. Our current charter is not sufficient. It's have been sufficient so far, but we got challenged on a couple of the things, and the companies that we have right now are finding loopholes and trying to avoid, try and weasel their way through different stuff. So if we can pass this, that would avoid most of the challenges that we're facing with these companies.
Can you talk about some of the challenges that you?
We have some complaints before of the inconsistent charges with the companies. One company will charge this much, another company will charge this much, or give discount to this. We have, for 19 years that I've been here, we did have the set price for basic tows, which is hook up and go. Most of the companies buy that. One company challenged us on it, and they requested us to provide in writing that we're doing that, to find out that I think 23 years ago there was some committee, or it was gentleman's agreement, was never put on paper. So that was one of the challenges. Another challenge is we recently acquired another tow company, or we put the company on tow rotation, just to find out that recent tow company is pretty much dividing the company in different LLCs, like registering 1 or 2 trucks to different LLC, and then registering another worker as the company, just so they can get another week in the rotation. Or trying to get into heavy tow rotation, not having heavy tow trucks, and trying to rent or borrow from the other tow company that's not on rotation, so just so they can get more weeks. And this proposal that I submitted, it would cut on most of it. I'm sure they're still gonna try to find something wrong with it, but this will cut most of those problems.
How about the weekend ability to access your car on the weekend after it's been towed issue?
We, at the beginning of this year, we set up traffic division, we set up the meeting with all the tow companies, and we had, I think it was very fruitful meeting where we discussed everything, and everything, I think we're all in agreement that if they're gonna charge if they're gonna charge somebody for the weekend, that they have to be available for that person to retrieve the vehicle during the weekend. If they're not there, they cannot charge it. For example, if the vehicle is towed on Friday night and somebody's trying to get it Saturday morning, and if that tow company is not there to release that vehicle, they cannot charge Saturday or Sunday until the next business days that they're there. And we also,
So if someone were to end up in that situation, they should take photos, document, and call the traffic division if they're
yes,
getting, provide some sort of evidence that
yes.
they had attempted to pick
And
up
that
their
would
car.
be one of the things that they violate, and we could proceed with either it's a verbal warning or in writing, or being taken off the rotation.
So if they are closed on the weekend, they can still be in the towing rotation, but they just can't charge for the weekend if they are not allowing you to pick up your car.
Correct, and they're supposed to provide 24-hour service regardless, but there's those times where you don't have somebody in the office, or they're out on the road towing somebody else, and people are calling. So if you're not there to actually receive the payment and release the vehicle, you cannot really charge for that day.
Councilman Hotchkiss?
This is the first time I'm thinking about how the city does towing. So is there a process for how a particular towing company gets selected? Do they have to do like an RFQ, or is it just like who's ever available can?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like in our current traffic code, there's really no set rules how we accept somebody, or how many companies we accept, or what's the procedure for accepting. It's just,
Yeah,
hey,
but
if you
I don't see anything like that in here either. It just says there's going to be a list of no more than 6 people. There's no renewals. There's no time to look at it. There's no chance necessarily for new people to come in. And obviously, if you have people fighting over weeks now, there's demand to access our towing list.
I don't. Yes, I mean, we're gonna, if we limit the list to 6 and 3 right now, and then if we,
Yeah, but there's still no process for how people get added or removed from the list.
So, I mean,
yeah, there
There
is
is
an
a-
application procedure.
yeah, there's an application set up, and there's also a removal process for this. Now, if this were to pass, you'd have a cap on it, and at that 6-member cap, we wouldn't be adding additional tow companies unless someone ended up getting removed, or they decided that they wanted themselves removed from the list. There's also, this is sort of like general towing, or for lack of a better term, general towing versus evidence tows. Evidence tows are something that we bid out for, versus like there's an accident, BPD shows up, they're calling someone to tow because they need to get the vehicle off the road.
of evidence tow or police vehicle tows, those are the tows that we're responsible as city to pay for it. So we go out for bid for that. Between the 6 companies that are already on the list.
I want to express gratitude for you working on this issue. I know a number of us had conversations with folks that have been on the receiving end of confused and outrageously expensive towing situations for low-income employees downtown. So I really appreciate you looking at this and trying to tackle it.
Yeah, and
Well, this doesn't, I mean, was those situations where people were being towed by the police, or situations where people were being towed by private lots? Because this would not
I think,
affect
well,
that.
yeah, it wouldn't be with private lots, but still, you don't want to have people where you know, paying for the weekend and you can't.
So that won't be affected by this, though?
Not by this
No.
legislation, but by the work he's been doing on more generally.
How?
But they now cannot charge for if the place isn't open to pick up your car. The discussion we just had.
But not
the
for
meeting.
private towing from a private lot?
Yes, correct.
This
Yes, the-
also wouldn't affect private towing if someone got in an accident and wanted to call a specific tow company. This has to do with whether or not they're on the city's tow list for who the city calls in that situation.
Yeah, that private, for example, behind the CVS lot, the Ellis Brothers, they tow vehicles there from their lot. That's nothing that we control, or we have whatever towing company they have contract, they can do that. We don't control that. And I think they have somebody outside the city that tows for them anyways. And we're talking about the accidents, police tow, where police is requiring tows. And also another thing that we did in this meeting is that we standardized pricing list for all companies for what maximum of a allowable price is for each specific tow. And we pretty much went with the schedule that state troopers have and the Broome County Sheriff. So, you know, in other words, the whole Broome County is on the same schedule. We had some instances where people were towed by different department and would call us, hey, we got charged this much because you guys told me, but Broome County Sheriff's told us and it was this much. So right now we're on the same page with the prices, and we can negotiate that every year.
Anybody else?
I guess I have a question about the New York State max charge. Is that set regionally or is that set statewide?
It's, we went with the Troop Z Zone 2, which is our local here, Kirkwood one. I'm pretty sure that they're all standardized through New York State. Maybe not through whole New York State, downstate. I'm sure it's gonna be more, but in this zone 2.
Thank you.
Anybody else? See, this is set for an expedition. Do I have a
I'll make
motion? I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion. I'll second. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I want to take 2 weeks for this.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What's the reason for the expedition, I guess? Just to get it done?
Like I mentioned, we currently have the company that is trying to do different LLCs, and they're trying to get on a list with every tow truck that they have, pretty much.
Okay. That's fine.
Anybody else? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Dundon is absent. Councilmember Rathmel.
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
No.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 4-1.
So it passed, and it will be on Wednesday's agenda. Welcome. I know. I was just waiting. Next, just waiting. Next up, we have RL 26-83, a resolution to accept an in-kind donation from Claw Industries, and that is going to go to Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem Middleton. This is RL 2683, a resolution to accept in-kind donation from Claw Industries. Our presenter is Ben with the Economic Development Department.
Thanks. So this is for the 434 Greenway. There's going to be 6 benches that are installed, and Claw, along with Barney and Dickinson, offered to donate $1,200 for the concrete slabs that these benches will be placed on.
So, is the concrete the actual with the glass and the process that Claw uses, or is it just regular concrete?
That I am not sure about. I believe that's all the concrete that they do, so I would think yes, but I could follow up with them.
And just to remind, the 434 benches, that was the vote that we took quite a while ago that Director Glos came down to talk to us about, and that related to health department money, if I remember right.
Yes,
and it's the kind of cancer protecting covered benches.
So there's 2
right.
of those. They're not for the 434. I'm not sure where those ones are going, but these ones, so there's some of them are just going to be like a standard bench, and then a couple of them will be the company that has them. That's sort of like 2 benches that go face to face to each other and create like a picnic table kind of.
Any other questions?
Do we
So-
know where the?
Oh, go ahead.
Do we know where on the Greenway exactly?
So there's 6 of them, and we're basically going to have them spread out equally. It'll be about every quarter mile or so along the Greenway, from the underpass to basically the line with Vestal.
And can I ask why you want this expedited?
Yeah, sure. So it's not absolutely necessary that it be expedited, but we do have a deadline to get these up for
When's the
the end of
deadline?
the end of May, 31st. So expediting just gives us a little bit more flexibility with planning on when these are going to be installed.
Okay.
And I know I get a lot of questions from the health department for where we are with this project, and I'm guessing that your office is also getting
Yes.
a lot of questions about when this
Yes.
is going to get done from the health department.
A motion to expedite.
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? It was Hadassah. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Dundon is absent. Councilmember Rathmel.
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Nay.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 4-1.
Thank you. It'll be on Wednesday's business meeting. Up next, we have, and the Planning Committee Chair, Rathmel, will introduce RL 26-80.
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem Middleton. This is RL 26-80, a resolution for agreement with Highland. Actually, let me read the actual title. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Highland Planning for the Conklin Ave Neighborhood Business District Plan. We have Dr. Burling with the Planning Department here to present.
this? There we go. Okay. Good evening. So we would just like permission, I guess, to enter into this contract with Highland Planning for the Conklin Ave corridor study. And I believe we sent a copy of the contract as well.
What'd you
Can't hear
say?
me?
Is
Oh.
it volume or is it just
I don't know.
how we're hearing it?
I don't know. I can barely hear, period.
Is
so I don't
everybody
know.
having a, sorry to talk about you
I
like
have
you're
a-
not here, Dr.
I'll
Burling.
try it
Is
like
every-
this.
I'm hard of hearing.
Is that better? Is it really? Oh my- I'm sorry.
It's not
Is
your
that
fault.
better? Okay, thank you. We have a contract ready to enter into with Highland Planning for the Conklin Ave corridor study. That, I guess we would like permission to do so.
I don't have any questions. I had the opportunity to be a part of the the interviews for which agency that submitted proposals would be chosen for this opportunity. I believe it, for Councilmember Matavetsky and I, Highland Planning was our top choice from the beginning. The proposal that they submitted was impressive on a number of levels. I think we were both impressed with the community engagement pieces in particular. And I'm familiar with the work they did with the Broome County Housing Assessment in 2024 and similarly appreciated their approach to connecting with residents, connecting with businesses. So their outline, I think, is comprehensive. That was included in the materials, so thank you for that. I do intend, I believe also, sorry, I keep talking for you. I believe we both plan to be on the advisory committee and part of the planning process as this moves forward.
This was, so far, has been one of the best experiences being on council, has been being involved with this, and I'm looking forward to the next steps with it.
Awesome.
The only note, Juliet, if you wouldn't, and I meant to mention this weeks ago, but since the consolidated plan is mentioned in the materials review that's part of their proposal, just a note that the 2025-2029 consolidated plan that's on the website is not the amended version that was adopted by council.
HUD hasn't accepted the amendment yet, so as soon as they do, we'll replace it.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
No problem. We're hoping to have a kickoff meeting the week of April 13th. Sorry. We're hoping to have a kickoff meeting the week of April 13th if everything, yeah. 13th.
And I know council's discussed the idea of trying to go through a similar process for Center City next year if we can get that into the budget. So just to flag that for you, that there's an interest in looking at that region next.
Sounds good.
Anybody else? Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll move on to the next RL. This is in the Municipal Affairs Committee. Councilmember Matavetsky will now introduce RL 26-84.
I have that in planning.
Oh, it's not my fault. Sorry. I'm planning. It's not me. Not this time. It's in planning with Councilmember Rathmel. Sorry.
No, that's okay. This is RL 26-84, a resolution for an agreement with Broome County Urban League for the rehabilitation of 2 low to moderate income rental units. Dr. Burling?
Yep. I hope, can you guys hear me okay, or?
Yes.
Okay, good. Right, so this is $100,000 that we're putting towards the renovation rehab of 2 units out of their 6-unit project. I believe they're choosing to put the funds towards the 88 Main Street units. And we have a full contract ready for them. Actually, it's in review now. It'd be a standard Chodo type contract with a 20-year, what's the word I'm looking for? Rebecca?
Affordability requirement.
Yes. Thank you. With a 20-year affordability requirement for those funds. Is that one better?
I was just trying to see if that one was on, if you're getting.
Oh.
This is, I know council members are aware, but for folks following along, this is the progression of the community development block grant funding that this body approved February 25th, I want to say, for folks that are interested in watching that YouTube. But this and the following RL are both executing contracts to move that funding forward.
It's a request for expedition. I'll make the motion to expedite.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
There's
Clerk,
an urgent
can
need to spend down this money.
Yes, yes, yes.
So let's do
Clerk,
it.
can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Councilmember Rathmel.
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. And again, Dr. Burling is still here. We have RL 26-84, a resolution for the agreement of the BC Urban League for rehab of 2 LMI rental units, and it'll go back to Councilmember Rathmel and Planning.
Thank you. So we just covered RL 2684. Moving to RL 2681, this would be a resolution for a similar agreement with Family Enrichment Network for the replacement of their elevator at 249 Washington Street.
Thank you. I was messed up.
Yeah, the elevator is currently completely unusable, which restricts the ability for that center to be used for ADA compliance beyond the first floor. So it's pretty crucial.
Another progression of the CDBG funding capital component.
All right. I'll make the motion to expedite.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Dundon is absent. Councilmember Rathmel.
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you, Dr. Burley.
I had asked for that one also to be expedited.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I asked for that one also to be expedited.
We just did.
Okay, I couldn't hear.
Oh, no. That's what we just voted on.
Yay, thank you.
So I think you're all, she's set, correct?
So we're good. I'm good.
You're all set.
I'm out. Okay,
Have a good night.
thank you.
Thank you. It's so hard to hear, like I feel like it's something. Okay, yeah, so see, that's the, okay, thank you. Can you hear back there? Somewhat, yeah, it's something. Okay. Next up, we'll have the Employees Committee member, Hadassah Matavetsky. Councilmember Matavetsky will introduce RL 26-82.
So this one is titled Salary Adjustment for Leadership of Department of Public Works, parentheses, Commissioner, Deputy, and Street Supervisor. And we welcome down our Director of Personnel, Kent Drake Deese. So we have more than one open commissioner seat. And that's been an ongoing topic. I think council's been concerned about all the acting situations. So talk us through why this one, why now? Are we going to see parks? The whole bit.
Okay. Yeah, now's a good time. As noted, this has been an issue for quite some time. To be more specific, this position was posted in 2022 last. So nobody really wanted to step up and take that on as a full-time job, but Josh and Fran have been rock stars throughout the process and have really done a good job, stepped up. But, and I think that was a concern at the time that, boy, it's a lot, you know, to take on for those two gentlemen, and it was. And so, over time, trying to figure that one out, not to mention in terms of really, and this speaks to why now, getting the salary right, it's super difficult to, when you do a salary survey, for these positions in particular, because so many municipalities are structured so differently. It's tough to do an apples to apples on that. So trying to be fiscally responsible about how you research these things and make sure that you come up with something that's defensible was pretty important. And you know, frankly, it took a long time to do that. So so this is where we landed on, and it was expedited a little bit by the realization of the because you'll see there that this is really kind of structured what's pushing upward. There's a lot of upward pressure from the Teamsters contract, right? So these the supervisors, you know, are making, as you can see there, you know, $67,000, right? And so that was more than their supervisors were making. That's, as you can imagine, super problematic. Shouldn't occur. And that doesn't even include the overtime, because the superintendents don't get that, whereas the street supervisors do get that. So there are some street supervisors that were making over 80 with their overtime. So obviously that was inverted, and so this proposal had to address that right from the get-go. So that's really what's pushing up, because other things that you may have wanted to deal with in terms of salary there didn't have a ton of flexibility, because you couldn't go down, and you had to create separation, you know, to avoid the salary compression on the way up. Not to mention knowing at the top already that those salaries were not particularly competitive in the market. And that can be borne out through a salary study, and also just through, like I say, it's been available since 2022 with pretty much nobody taking a look at it. So, so these salaries that are proposed take care of all those concerns: the salary compression, the leveraging up. It'll take care of, it'll address the issue of, you know, because we're in a negotiation, we're opening negotiations with the Teamsters right now, so that's going to increase a little bit again with supervisors, undoubtedly, and so it'll take care of that. So the problem that we're facing right now with the salary structure shouldn't be an issue for quite some time, if at all, if it's managed properly moving forward, which I'm sure it will be. So it corrects all of those salary compression issues, marketability issues, and alignment issues, and deals with the, you know, how that's impacted by the union pushing up on the entire structure. So that is, and we're able to do so without impacting the budget, because that money's available. If you see there, there's a $37,260 increase there. But that money's going to be found apparently through unused salaries that we already have in the city, so it's not an additional allocation of those monies.
Let's see, I got, so I know we don't have a citywide understanding of salaries across departments, but do you have a gut sense of how this compares to issues in other departments? Is this the #1 department that has this type of issue?
This is the #1 department that has this kind of issue. It's not a unicorn by any stretch. It's not unique. but it's a obviously super important department that has this issue. So has been the focal point of trying to resolve it sooner than later, and so we're able to do that. And one of the most difficult to study, because I looked at this a really long time with a lot of other municipalities, and ran into a lot of dead ends where things just don't really match up. So in that sense, we are a little bit unique in our structure. So it was hard to find a good landing spot on this. So some of it's more art than science, but I feel pretty good about where we fell. This is still not top of the line by any stretch, but it is. At least you can seriously offer that salary out there and have it taken seriously. But it's still on the lowish end.
Is there a plan to rotate through looking at each of the departments in this way, like some sort of timetable or schedule that we're going to be systematically addressing these types of issues?
Yeah. So we're looking at all of them. All the departments, and I think you mentioned Parks earlier. So Parks is definitely on the list, and it's front and center on the list right now. You see, because we made change to water also, and changes to this one. So that is the one that's up next. Not even next, because I'm already into it. I'm already pretty knee deep into that one.
And you mentioned that the Teamsters negotiations are going now. I just want to make sure that our employees chair, Councilman Murray, is getting looped in, because council is supposed to be able to observe those negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on that committee, and Councilman Middleton, I think, is also the three of us, right? So if Councilman Murray is not available, I think one of the two of us would like to make sure we're in those negotiation meetings.
Absolutely. They haven't started yet. So,
all right.
Haven't missed anything.
Okay, just make sure we're included.
So I wanted to ask, it's coming, you're between 3 and 4 years of having the commissioner job posted, right? You said since 2022.
Yeah.
Have there been applicants since then?
Yes. Earlier on in that process, there was. That's what happens when you put stuff on Indeed. Like, there was, cutting to the chase, whether there's like maybe 3 people who were marginally qualified,
Okay.
at best who had applied. So we didn't really get anybody particularly qualified.
So
those are tough qualifications,
Right. And I think so I agree with the increases for like the first deputy commissioner and the superintendent of streets. But if we're also trying to have a salary that is attractive and trying to attract a commissioner to take over that role, I don't see how it's about a $2,500 bump is going to attract more applicants to that role. And I think as long as we're looking at it, why wouldn't we be thinking about bumping that up as well?
Because like I said, that job's been out there for a while, and Josh and Fran have been kind of filling in for that. But the position wasn't really appropriate for them, or the salary wasn't appropriate for them or anybody, really. But it is like this. So we can fill those roles with the personnel that we have, potentially.
I'm sorry, the last statement you made, you said we can fill those roles with the employees we have? That's the intention?
Yes, because basically it'd be the same as anything if you're in those jobs, but to have that real responsibility for those jobs and the salary's not up to snuff, marketable, then you'd keep doing the temporary thing. But now that they are shown to be competitive, at least, then it makes it more attractive for the folks who are in those temporary jobs to commit to doing it permanently.
Because there might be competitive applicants against them, and if they haven't
Right.
said yes, they're, right, I'm understanding it correctly.
Right.
That right now, there's no pressure on somebody who's in an acting role because the pay of the position is so low that there's not going to be a serious applicant against them. So they might as well keep their more protected, non-politically appointed
Right.
position than take the commissioner role. But if the salary is high enough that they're going to actually have competition for that job, they may not be able to maintain having a foot in both rooms.
Yeah, it's a pretty major
I
jump.
understand that. I think what I understood from Councilmember Hotchkiss's question was if it's not a significant increase, does it accomplish that intention? And the response is yes. Okay, could I ask what other reasons have folks with the qualifications to perform these leadership roles given for not, other than salary, for not pursuing the position?
I'm sorry, can you say again? The feedback's pretty vicious.
Yeah. What other reasons have folks with the qualifications for these leadership positions given for not pursuing?
One is what Councilwoman Hadassah just said. I mean, leaving the Teamsters is a pretty big jump for folks. You really have to entice folks to leave the Teamsters. And for folks who have been around and have enough seniority in the Teamsters and have built up their benefits, that's a tough one to walk away from. So it's got to be pretty substantial, and that's the primary reason, really, more than anything else. And the others is people just, it's a difficult job, and not everybody's built to be able to do the night work, on the weekends and the on-call. That's
And like you mentioned, none of that is paid overtime
right.
when you
That's right.
accept the position.
Yeah, so that's
That's true.
unattractive to many when, like I say, the supervisors, for example, on here, they get it. They get overtime every time they come in, and they're looking at their supervisors who they don't get that. So why would I want that job? So that's really a big driver on that. Unless the salary's got to be, really attractive.
So oftentimes when we're looking at salaries, we get kind of a range, and maybe this speaks to what Councilman Hotchkiss was kind of pointing at, and we're getting kind of exact numbers here. Can you give us a better sense of the range from your investigations for the Commissioner of Public Works? Was 95 in the center for comparative cities? Is it to the lower end? Is it the higher end?
Yeah, it's low end. It's low end, respectable. Again, there's a little bit of art involved in this. For example, you can look at some similar municipalities, and it pays. It's going to pay $58,000. So when you're looking at that, you're like, wow, $58,000. Wow, what am I looking at? But for the deputy position, it was $58,000 I saw, but a lot of cities, and that's the thing, is a lot of cities are structured where they have like 4 or 5 deputy commissioners, and when you look, for example, I think it's Niagara, so they have a deputy commissioner who makes $58,000, but all they do is off-street parking. That's their thing, So it's not like our folks. Our structure is very much these two do everything. It's one-stop shopping. They cover the whole thing for a city this size, and other municipalities that then have a similar structure to ours, but then they're much smaller. So their salary is going to be smaller.
Were there discussions about having a potentially different structure? What was pros and cons for keeping our existing structure
Right.
and bumping up the salaries versus
Yeah.
expanding the number of roles and
I think
keeping
what we need
salaries
to
lower?
Yeah, that's a great that's a great point, and one that was thought about, because that's the one, I think that's something that we need to look at, because if you're a unicorn or so unique, you know, is that awesome that you're unique, or is there a good reason why other people are not like that, you know? And so I think we need to take a look at that, but that's going to take much longer. So I think that we can chew gum and walk at the same time, and move forward with the program as it is, and then also take a deeper dive into this and see why we're structured the way we are and why that makes sense for us as opposed to some other places.
Do you foresee, I'm not sure if I missed this, do you foresee this problem getting better, or with the
well, at least for the short term, this is certainly going to make it better, because I think we'll very quickly get a commissioner, we'll very quickly get a deputy commissioner, and we will, it'll take a touch longer, but because we got to do a full search for the superintendent, because that's the one that's been kind of funding those other two positions. So we'll look for those. So having a fully staffed DPW administration for the first time since 2022 should help.
So
Certainly the productivity part get better. Yeah.
So in terms of process, with these increases in salaries, there's not going to be a new full search for commissioner or first deputy. What actually happens once we, assuming council moves this forward and votes to make this happen, what happens next for that? Is it an open search again? Can people still apply? Or is it the existing people that are just getting assumed?
People could still apply. It's out there now. I mean, the salary's not out there now, but the position's out there now, so that'll change, and then we'll
Will there be a time frame window from when the salary gets posted with the higher salary, that it's open at least a certain number of weeks for people to get in their applications at the higher salary advertised amount?
Yeah, it'd be at least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks after the salary increase.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So we've talked about parks as well. Could you run down quickly just the departments that we do not have, that we currently have acting roles for?
So Parks has an acting right now. As a director level, you're saying? Were you saying at the director level, acting?
Yeah. Water, right?
Water, yeah. Who's that?
The assessor's leaving.
Oh, yeah, in July, I think, potentially. That's being advertised. And that one's appropriately salaried.
Do we have to, because I honestly feel like we don't, and don't take this offensive, I feel like we don't put like the pressure on job openings and applicants. I feel like as a city, we could be doing a lot better when it comes to openings, because there's positions that are open, and they're open for a long time, and that has nothing to do with you, but I just feel like we might want to change how we're marketing, the way we bring in people. Also, a younger person might be willing to do a lot more, or different mindsets, but I feel like we have to start targeting a different audience to kind of get the ball rolling when it comes to job openings, because I don't think with this amount of money, it's still going to put the pressure on them doing the work. Also, you need people in certain positions so that way everything can function properly in the city. So we can't have a person doing 2 jobs, and then sometimes you forget or you make a mistake, but if you're doing a bunch of different jobs and holding a bunch of different titles, you're bound to make a mistake. And if we don't have these positions put in place, and people in the exact position that we need, the city won't run efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's complicated, of course, because there's a lot of different pressures on that, because again, some of these positions, you know, we're drawing from a small pool, Broome County.
Job fairs, the Chamber of Commerce, like there's so many things that we could do to kind of extend our reach. Because it's hard when like you see it online, and a lot of people don't even go to the Binghamton website to even look for that. So I kind of feel like that's outdated, but we have to kind of find ways to kind of reach for people, because I know there's plenty of people who have these qualifications that we're not reaching their target.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you're kind of somewhat alluding to the discussions on how we drum up police applicants. We really make a serious investment in driving people to the civil service exams, to our, right, it's not hidden, right? We have a social media marketing campaign, we have a website, we have all major investment in filling positions.
Well, I think it'd be great to unpack all this, because it's not like we don't get applicants. That's out there. They're just not qualified, or they don't want to live in Broome County, or they don't want to work for that amount of money, or they're not going to move certainly here for that amount of money from where they are. And in the water, take the water one for example, and the assessor one coming up. I mean, nobody has those qualifications. Nobody has those qualifications. I mean, good luck finding somebody with the qualifications that you have to have for that. And of course, I'm overstating it. Very few, extremely few people have those qualifications, and the people who do already have a pretty darn good job, right?
So then it's a matter of training and developing and finding people that we can
Except
mold
you can't
in.
train, because in civil service rules, you have to have those qualifications. You can't horseshoe it. So that's super difficult.
What'd you say?
Like we've gotten a ton of applications for assessor already. One of them was qualified. So those are some of the complicated. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that goes with that, but yeah, you can reach far and wide. But like I say, and we don't really have a problem recruiting people for our entry level, mid level, that kind of thing. It's we don't do too bad there, but these upper level ones, to get actually qualified people is
But
really
that's
hard.
the training programs internally to help people move up towards those things.
And that's the thing. We get a lot of people who do move up, like all the time, because we do a good job internally. But when civil service says you need to have this certification, that certification, this license, we can't do that.
Is it so? It's like a budget constraint, or like
Has
in terms
nothing-
of actually getting
Do we
sending
have
people
a-
out for professional development employees?
No, it has nothing to do
Do
with
we,
money.
I was going to
They
say
have
that.
to come
Do we
here
have a
with those
fund
things.
for that? Maybe a
He's-
fund
I didn't
for
hear that one.
professional development or supervisors? Are they encouraging professional development? Like, do we have a fund for that?
Oh yeah, we encourage professional development. We just put some more money in the budget with the CSEA contract to get people out to do more training. But for positions like the director level thing, like I say, it's tough. Like I say, there's even people in the field out in other places that they're just not going to have those qualifications,
Yeah.
and that's their career. Because I've been focusing on the water thing and the parks thing and this DPW thing, and it's like, wow, it's like you're really looking for somebody special with some very specific things, to get these positions, and they're not everywhere. And you can get some people with some really impressive credentials that apply. You're like, geez, I'd love to work with that person, but they're just not qualified for this job. And and like I said, you can't say, yeah, but they have so many other amazing qualities. I'm sure they could learn how to do this, but you can't do that. So that's, and we're not the only ones who are suffering from that. That's not a Binghamton problem. That's an around the state problem. Because when I'm on these listservs, looking at some of the conversations between other directors and civil service folks, yeah, there's a lot of frustration out there.
Anybody else?
I'm open to people having discussions with me one-on-one about, you know, if there's specific things that we need to be talking to the state about, how we can improve things, or other things like that. I'm open to hearing ideas. I'm not coming with answers, just open to hearing ideas.
Well, the state is in the midst of revamping their civil service approach. And like many things, it gets pushed out a little bit more, you know. There's a date and then it gets pushed out a little bit more, but there is an initiative out there, so we're waiting to see how that plays out. We just attended a seminar about it last week. So, it's complicated, like so many things.
All right.
All right.
Motion.
Well, thank you so much. I'd like to make a
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, yeah.
Second.
A motion and a second. Thank you all. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.